United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. for all.
We have a new member here. Little boss, right? Welcome to the board and, you want to go around the room and, we'll all introduce ourselves. I don't know if you know everybody, but, you know, someone tell me.
You get to go first.
You do.
Tony Hale, I'm the board council.
One of the board council.
One of the board
About
council.
30 now.
General counsel.
Yeah, council of record. General.
Didn't they? We just took that.
You know me.
Yeah.
Greg Malta Senior.
Victoria Adams, Aaron Skeeman. Jen Young.
Hold on one second, Victoria, just tell us what Frank, what you do. Yeah.
I am the operations manager
Oh.
at the office, so I work with John.
Okay, then Aaron, did you talk to Aaron yet?
Marketing and communications.
And then Jen.
Hi Frank, how are you this morning? I am also at the IBA, as you know.
Chief Frank, I'm Corey Albrecht, we met a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Nice to see you again.
You know me.
Frank and Baraki, nice to meet you.
So as you can see, we have a pretty diverse board too as well, and we really welcome our legislators when they can attend. And usually up on the board, you'll see Shannon. She's another one of our attorneys, and she deals with a lot of things that are into green energy or our brownfield development or our LDC. So we'll get more into that as we go along. And then can we tell who the other caller is?
Elaine.
Mrs. Furbeck from Little Falls. I don't know if you know her, but she seems to attend. She's one of our regulars. She's gonna win a cup of coffee the next time for being one of the people that show up every time.
Just tell a little bit about us and we come behind. Real quick. You don't need a social security number.
Born and raised, I've been in Little Falls all my life. I worked in manufacturing for 40 years, different places in the community. Went off of university. Member of the school board for the last 7 years. I was president for 3 and vice president. I'm president of the YMCA for the last 25 years. Active member of the library board because of my affiliation with the school. And love the more family, love Richmond County. Happy to be here.
What's the newest addition to your life?
Grandson.
There you go.
9.5 weeks old, 10 weeks old.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
His name Frank?
Huh? No.
Congratulations, Frank. You forgot one thing though.
What?
You're also a member of the Sons.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll meet tonight.
Okay, I'll be with it.
Once a month to eat and drink.
That's something to call.
It is. It's an initiation to get in.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, I don't know.
All right, well, thank you for, spending.
For joining the board, we really appreciate it.
Let's go to number 2, our roll call, please.
Albrecht.
Here.
Badlow. Here. Day.
Here.
Moretti.
Here.
Garano.
Here.
Bono.
Here.
And Mendel.
Let's go to our mission statement, Aaron, please.
The mission of the Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency is to deliver economic incentives to businesses and industries to diversify and strengthen Herkimer County's tax base and enhance community vitality by supporting job creation, housing, business, and industrial development, and community revitalization. We strive to develop the local economy in an organized, sustainable, and environmentally beneficial manner.
So Frank, we read that at the beginning of our meeting to let everyone know that we're working on different projects that, as part of being audited and understanding better what the state wants, if it's part of our mission statement, we can work on those type of projects. So if you look at our mission statement, it allows us to help many different groups and many different markets out there. Because, green energy, brownfields, housing, you name it, plus everyone industrial development. So that's why we incorporate.
All right, before we go to minutes, we're gonna jump over to, item number 8, the annual election of officers for these claims and auditors. It's on page 18. Yes, Jim, tell us why.
We're doing this right now because for two reasons. One is about 2.5 weeks ago, our server died. And we were able, Terry Reifenberg was able to bring it back for a brief period of time here. And today he's coming in to update that, move it, and get a bunch of things done. Victoria needs to print something out. We want to get it done before he comes in here because you all have to sign. So that's why we're doing this now. We moved it up and then Victoria will leave. Go get it all printed out for you all to sign.
We're gonna, keep the same slate pretty much with the exception of treasurer. We're gonna, Tim is accepting the position, I guess, or do the treasurer. So everyone else will stay the same. With Frank, there is a new director.
And then,
There's one vacancy.
yeah, in the marketing committee, and I know, you know, if you were interested before, would you be interested in it again?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Any changes, corrections to that list before we vote on that? All right, I need a motion to, set the slate of officers. Alana, second. Tim, discussion. Okay, right. Any opposed, name?
Thank you.
Let's go to minutes.
Thanks, Victoria.
Number 4, there's 2 sets of minutes there, one for the regular board meeting, pages 1 through 4 for November 26th. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions that need to be made? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept from Corey, second by John Serrano, discussion. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. December 3rd, there was a public hearing. You accept public hearing? Any additions, corrections? To the motion? Accept. Alana, second. John Serrano, discussion. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. All right, item number 5, our financial reports for November, pages 6 through 12. John, you want to-
Sure. Obviously, we're good. We're on track with everything. In fact, yesterday too, we received our final payment on the last of the 4 solar projects. Financially, we're very strong. Next year looks very good again with the projects that we have in place. All of the one loan that we have is current, and we're pretty close to closing out our Barrett excavating that will be done in February. So no major expenses that are outstanding. Everything is on track to keep us moving at a good pace right now.
Question with the Skylar Business Park. Let me answer this one. Do we close down, or rather, when's the next time we would pay that down?
When
Closed down.
the next one will be for the back property, which is the 60 acres that we have with Hugo Brewer right now.
Yeah.
Or what's their name? It's not, it's got a different name. I'm so sorry.
I don't remember what it is.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
sorry.
different name. The front property was never included in that note,
Oh,
so it's only the back property.
so no, Fuji or any of those.
No, they don't have to be. I think we took Calucci though and put it towards it because we had to pay for everything, including the road space and the areas that we couldn't develop. So when you worked it out, we would need some additional, but that came from the front to cover it. So the 60 acres that are left will close us out with this.
So when we closed on, say, Buell and Fuji, we didn't need to pay this down?
No,
And that's secured by the mortgage.
yeah.
They're not, okay.
Yeah, the only thing is the back 188 acres, and you know, we can't develop that top part, so we had to pay for that, and any of the road space, we have to pay that back.
Yeah, no, that's fine, I understand.
All right, any other comments? Questions? All right, need a motion to accept the financials. John Serrano, second, Tim Day, discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Carried. Let's go with our Michael Enterprise, want to update, Jennifer?
Yes, good morning. We are still working on dispersing our micro enterprise grant. I currently have 2 active applications. I also have one for your review today. In other terms of the micro enterprise grant, I'm also working on the yearly annual performance report that's due January 15th. And that's just an overview of everything that we've done thus far. So it's a little bit time consuming, but That's moving along pretty well. And we have just under 200,000 left in funds to disperse. So if you have any businesses that might be interested, please have them give me a call. I'm happy to answer any questions that they have. I do get a lot of calls, a lot of questions, a lot of emails, but they don't always work out. So please keep sending them our way.
I think one of the things that has increased the visual of our microenterprise grant is that Aaron goes with Jen, we get a picture of the big check and show them all, and they see the variety of businesses that can take advantage of this. So I think it's moving along nicely. And then how often do you have a call with them too?
Every other Thursday, so I have one today.
So we stay in touch with HCR. We look at it in many ways. That group is very good to work with. They not only represent this grant that we have, but other grants too that we're always looking to do. So the more we speak to them, the better off we are when we're looking to secure some other funding.
Does SBDC help with the marketing as well, or just?
A little bit. I mean, they put it on their website and they put it on their mailer when they do it.
They also have the big printout that we had, that Aaron made at the office too, so when businesses are coming in, it's on the wall.
We get a lot of traffic.
The chamber does it too. When they do an emailer, they'll send it out as well. So we try to get it out to as many people as we can.
Cornell also helps market it. They put it out in their flyer too.
Yeah, for the bag of businesses.
Jen, that's a question. So you contact the applicant every Thursday or ACR? What is it?
Homes and Community Renewal. So they're the state office that gives out the grant funding. So there are
What's the
state
purpose
contacts.
of contacting them once a week?
So they help me with questions that maybe aren't necessarily outlined, like in the gray area of if something is eligible. They also help me with right now, this call today is going to be mostly about the annual performance report, and they'll answer any questions that I have. Really, they're there for any question that I might have that is regarding the microenterprise.
Perhaps you catch it.
Yeah, and they don't allow things to fall through.
No.
They're really good. They really are. The only problem that agency has is they get too good of people and they lose them to other agencies. But that helps us too. Like one of the lead people there went to Empire State Development, who we've been working with on another big project. And she helps us just because she knows like Jen and Victoria can do all the required paperwork that we. It's pretty amazing, that group though, because the head of the group comes from the private sector. That's why they're so good. You know, because he worked in industry. He didn't always work for the state.
Motion on that application for it.
Oh, hang on, Mr. Stark.
What projects are you working on now?
Yep, the application that is almost ready, we're just waiting on a quote, is a company called BiteMate. It's an online business. And the other one is Waken Bagel. I don't know if you've heard of them. They sell bagels at like little like pop-up markets, farmer markets, things like that. Those two are-
But you're very discreet when you work with the companies. You should, tell them all that too. We're not out there to broadcast what they make and all of that. We work close. The state's very discreet, and sometimes we even reach out to Tony when we have certain questions too, just to make sure we don't need to get everybody's financials out there. We just want to make sure that it's a good project and that we can give them the grant. Because it is grant money, it's not a loan. So.
What's the timetable you have to exhaust the funds again?
October 11th, 2025 is our grant deadline.
So we have 100,000 left or 200?
Just under 200,000.
Is that gonna be hard to get through that by the deadline?
Yeah.
We'll ask for an extension if we need to, but I'd rather get as close as possible before we ask. I'm sorry.
Today you're okay to build a dog or something?
Yeah.
Then Bite Me, is that East Berkeley?
It's an online business, it's BiteMate, it's called.
Oh.
It's an online business.
I heard the same thing, Greg.
Sorry,
Brenda,
it's my accent, sorry. It's BiteMate,
Yeah, I didn't hear, what bite me is?
MATE?
MATE.
All right, so we have more questions for Jack. Corey's made the motion. I need a second. Alana, discussion. All in favor, aye. All right, any opposed, nay. Let's go to number 7, marketing update, yeah.
Here's the snow that we don't have. So I've been putting together a map of the different solar projects we have in Herkimer County. It is not complete yet, but this is what I have so far. Yesterday, we finished our final session of Denali Partners. This is my recognition of achievement award. And there's a picture of us.
Motley crew.
These are the pictures that I took of chips getting torn down. There were a lot of comments on our page for that. If anyone knew it.
Nostalgia?
Like
or-
good comment?
People were sad to see it go, but it's been garbage for 20 years. But the last owner, I don't know if he wasn't Rick DeJohns, the previous owner prior to this was saying, look, we had to make something good there. This is gonna be good.
That's all I have. It hasn't been a long time since the last presentation, so.
The solar project we're putting together because there's some other funding that'll be coming up after the first of the year. And we want to be a part of that for green energy, not that we go out and promote it to the lands or anything, but giving an inventory. Even though the state has it somewhat, and so does NYSERDA, there's going to be some other funding available, which will help us with the fact that we have some large projects coming in. We want to take some of that power that they generate, the 300 to 400 megawatt, keep it right there instead of putting it all back into the grid so we can do some additional development. So these are the things that we do to help make that. Thanks, Emma.
All set? Thank you. All right, item number 9, application financial systems for assistance for small projects. An application on page 19. 31, if you want to talk about this.
Sure, this is for discussion. So we've, after several meetings that we've had, this is our small projects application, so we can help out companies, and I'll give you an example. Like with Cary Motor Car looking to do an expansion over there. It doesn't make sense or cost benefit for them to do a complete pilot. So what we'll be able to help them with is their mortgage recording tax and their sales tax exemption. Property tax, I'll say the same. We're not gonna do any, anything with that. And of course, the assessor will probably come in after it's done and change it, but we're not looking to give them any property tax abatement. So this is just the amendment to the application, just an update to let you see that. The second thing on it is the fee schedule, which we need to be, to vote on.
Can we just backtrack?
Sure.
So just in this application, I know it pretty much matches our other existing applications. Is there anything in here that you're maybe looking to add or even delete over time? Maybe just revisit it to see if it needs any additional information, even from Tony's perspective?
Tony has reviewed it, so did, somebody else reviewed it too from the state. I can't remember right now. But, we have reviewed it. We've looked it over. We tried to, we don't want to simplify the application. We want to make sure that we can collect all the data. And then we'll still do a cost benefit analysis on it. But, this just, what we did with the instructions is where we've lowered the fees and just made it easier for them. So what this will truly help with is when, like, for an example, the Cary with their addition, I talked to their contractor, and it's about almost $90,000 in sales tax. So if we can help abate that, that moves that project along, considering they're gonna spend probably $1.2 million on it. So this gives them still a good benefit. Plus, if they do the mortgage recording tax, which is 1% of that, back too.
The only thing that stuck out, and I remember it from before I was asking in the original application, since these are publicly, I guess, shown on our site, do we absolutely need to show the, of course, client and their federal tax ID number?
Do we redact that? Yeah, I think it's.
I think that one is, yes.
It is? Okay, so we can only see it here in our website?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's nothing is out there until it's actually voted on, vote, so we don't put it out there in the process. So they don't see it, but we redact a lot of it.
Okay. Okay.
But if you catch one or see one, please let us know. Because
Yeah.
it should.
I will.
All right, need a, what's discussion?
No, that one, the fee schedule. Oh, I'm sorry, you're correct, yeah. we're into the meeting.
Now, on fee schedule, page 32, that's, proposed. Fee schedule or,
Proposed. So in
What's
here,
changed?
for the small projects, so we've added the small projects application, the small projects 0.5% instead of the full 1%. So that's the difference in here.
Non-refundable, right?
Now, so when well, there's a couple things. So the project application fee is not refundable. But when we get to the point of, when we're gonna induce, they'll know by then whether they're gonna go forward with the project.
Do we need to put on the board or is that?
I don't think so. Yeah, no, then we have never before. I don't see that. You don't think we need to put that in anywhere?
It hasn't been an issue if you want to make, you could always make it unequivocal, but we don't really collect the balance of the project. So it's just a fee for closing, so it's
So
never
that's-
gonna.
Thank you.
do we need a motion to accept the new fee schedule? Tim, second. Cory, discussion. All in favor aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. Item 10, JBF Stainless. Yeah,
I would like Tony to comment on it.
Well, as you may recall, I was instructed to send a default letter to Mr. Pellmeyer at JBF. With copy to the council listed in the financing documents. And I also provided notice of default to the current operator of the facility, who is still yet to reach out to them. Attached to the packet is a letter received from Mr. Pellmeyer's initial counsel. The sum and substance of the phone call I had with him was Kelly, it'd be a COPA. Mr. Pellmeyer's fault, he was rushing to close. He used other counsel who had no knowledge of the lease back to quickly sell his business operations for some reason. And just whatever, they are now looking to get our blessing on an assignment, which is completely a board decision. It's permitted under the financing documents. Of course, you know that it took us to get them in the rear end to get that to happen. I believe a few months back, we did adopt an assignment fee. So the agency will recover something should we choose to go that way. But I also made it clear to Mr. Curtin that it's one thing for us to bless this, but we also need to know that the assignee is going to, one, give us an application so we know that they're copacetic. And more importantly, they have to assume all the obligations under the original documents, including the recapture agreement, maintain the jobs, and supporting obligations. That should be a condition of any approval, given that I haven't heard from them, council at this point.
Which we've reached out to many times. My concern is too, we have really up to like when, March, to get them back on the tax rolls.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think we should maybe send another letter out copying JBF and the new company and saying if we don't hear from you by the end of January, we'll proceed with putting you fully back on the tax roll and we'll be in the fall. The requirements of what they agreed to.
Well, I think that would be part of it. I mean, my sense is, what's the board's flavor about if they provide what they need to provide, that we would conditionally look favorably upon this, as opposed to just saying, you need to hear from the other side.
So they do employ quite a few people. They are a viable business. Their plant manager has left. I'm not sure who moved up there. Do you know? Oh, Dana did move up, another qualified individual. So, I mean, they have a good product over there, a good company. We don't want to see anybody. And they actually have cleaned up the outside of that property a lot more than it's been in a long time. So, I mean, we want to work with them. It's just that he came in like a tornado, met with all these people, sold them a bunch of baloney, and then we don't hear from them. So I think that we should give them an option, but I think, and it's, once again, it's a board decision. We have to give them a time frame because we have to get it back on the tax rolls and we have to claw that back if it doesn't work, because we will be audited. We have to maintain. That's just something we're looking at on this side. However, once again, if y'all think that we should do something different,
Clawback comes from the original owner.
Tony,
Yes,
So JDF will be on the hook for that.
and I think he's well aware of that.
I wonder why he was sold so quick. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. We never heard from, he was his partner there that we dealt with. Actually, he was another JB or John or something. Remember the other gentleman? There was two of them, you know, Feldmeyer and the other guy. Can't think of it.
Yeah, I think they did it in the already, basic.
No, it's scary.
Just a basic.
I think, me personally, I think the original agreements with JDF and we hold them to their.
However, the new company is looking to assume.
Yeah.
Right, and we know that they're running the business. But to John's point, if they need a drop dead date to provide us everything we need. And my question to you is, how long would it take you to do all the paperwork? you need to
The
do?
assignment is actually one of the simpler things. We've developed it out of this package that we can knock out relatively quickly. It would be my suggestion that I reach out to the parties and say, if the board is not, well, we have not taken action, we're not opposed to it. However, we need assurances from the assignee that they're gonna do A and B by
Yeah.
January something.
Yeah.
Because how long would it, if they did get you that information and it's not a time frame, January, you know.
Like, I need it in
long
place
does
by
it
February
take?
eighth.
Okay, right, so how long does it take you to go through the process to get the property back on the tax roll by?
That's very simple. Actually, it's Victoria's issue more than it is.
How long does it take Victor? Aaron? So that. In.
We're talking
Condition
less
upon
than a
them
month.
getting you everything.
Yeah, I think it is
Less than a
perfect to
month.
ask for.
It shouldn't be that complicated. Leave the application instead of month. We've had less sophisticated companies find a way to do that.
Is there anything, even if they get you the application and everything, that would maybe disqualify them? I mean, provided they go through all the.
Oh, you can always
Qualification
disqualify them. You don't
criteria.
have to accept anything.
No, what I mean is there something, even if they get us the information, could there be something that?
We'd have to look at their labor form. What is that, 46? What's the form called again?
45.
45. So we'd have to look at the 45 to see where the employment is. That's the only thing
That's
that.
critical.
But from
To make
what
sure
I've
they-
talked to everybody, and maybe Corey, you have too, they haven't decreased and I think they're still looking to hire more.
We're gonna decrease it out. Yeah.
So I think we're gonna be good with that side. If they agree to sign the stuff, he's like, him and his attorney just don't get back to anybody.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just making sure that they're not.
Yeah.
continuing-
It might be their position, the problem, this is not my problem, you created it. But then again, I don't see why they want to assume, full taxable status of the property, that doesn't make any business sense.
Would you be okay with the 20th of January? Would that be a good date? I mean, that's,
I think that all depends on what. the
well, she can
parties
get
and
that back
not-
in February, so if we don't hear by the 20th, it's easy to put back on. in
30 days
February.
from now, I don't see that
Yeah.
as being an issue.
John, I would also think if you went through Dana locally as a general manager, maybe to emphasize the stress of this.
Okay.
Because he's in daily communication with you.
Okay. Yeah, I can
He's
just
not on site. He's only been here once.
Yeah, no, I know Dave, I can reach out to him too.
Well, let's think of it too, depending, I mean, if they have a criminal net lease, then even if it goes to full taxable status, that's the previous owner's issue. If there's a lease or.
I'm gonna bet
It's
that
not the
they,
new owner's issue.
I'm gonna bet that they have part of the agreement, they get the property too, because that's all the indication, don't you agree, Tony?
It's
That's what we're,
that they're looking to acquire the real estate.
Yeah.
too.
that's what we're hearing.
Well, for the time being though, if the new company doesn't get the information in, potentially it's Feldmeyer's issue if there's a criminal net lease, right? So-
But he can't come to us if we pick the 20th,
Right,
he can't come to us at the end of the summer and say, I want that pilot back.
Okay, so without objection. You all good with that?
Yeah, that's, I know it's Martin Luther King Day, but it doesn't matter.
No, that's a draft, that also gives us time before our next board meeting that we can make a decision.
Yeah.
What was the date that you mentioned? What is it, January? You said January 20th?
No,
Hold on,
February 8th.
February, I'm just trying to get as much off my plate, by February 8th as possible.
So January.
John and I have a date down south.
Okay, so January 20th, anybody else?
All information.
You need a resolution.
Need a motion, please. Tim, second, Lori. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried.
Thank you for that.
Can you be updated at the board before we meet again, if they did come through with this?
Of course.
Because the 20th is before the meeting.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We'll definitely let everybody know where we are on that.
Item 11, Skylar Business Park entrance, there's a proposal, we need to ratify that. It's on page 37, that's for Delta Engineering.
Yeah, we had the wrong number the last time. I truly apologize. It's 227,915. And that will come out of the Fast New York grant to cover the cost of that new entrance.
What was previous number?
189 and something. We didn't add up the two columns. My mistake.
Any questions? I need a motion. Somebody, Alana, Tim, second, discussion. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay? Carried. All right, Manheim Business Park. Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting situation now down there since I went to their school board meeting the other night. So what we do in most parks is with the help of the county, which they've been of great help. We put a PIF in place, pilot increment financing in place to help support the additional costs that's needed to put the water tank in or the infrastructure for the park, from what we haven't received in grant money. So I went to the school board the other night and explained to them that Dollisville under a consent order from the health department. They need a secondary source. I know it's not a source, but it's a tank that can hold 500,000 gallons, which their water can do 1 million. So this will give them some time to fix the line. They have one line that comes from Salisbury into Dollisville. When I explained that to the school board, there was one individual that kept saying, well, we won't get our part of the property tax or half of that. That's not acceptable. And I tried to explain to them since 2000, you have received no tax on the property. Prior to that, it was farmland and you got peanuts on the property. And if we bring a development, it's not only going to help out the area, but hopefully increase to the school district. And you're not paying a dime or have any liability on this water tank. They did not understand that at all. And I went back and forth, but some of the people, it was so interesting. The school board didn't get it, but the teachers there kept trying to explain it to them. It was really the principal and the vice principal. It was quite unique. They said, no, we need this. And the school board kept saying, but why are we responsible? And I went to say, you're not, you have no liability. And one of the principals goes, you have no liability. You're not responsible. You're just agreeing to, if there's a development in there, which there could or not be, you don't have to worry about it. You're getting a new water tank. They agreed to that.
Did they think the water tank was being moved over to the?
No, the village will maintain it all. I outlined that to them too. Said we've been working with Chet there, Skamansky. He's all in favor of all this. The mayor, they said, this doesn't make sense. Yeah, I did a Frankfurt and Skylar. I went through the whole thing. And they just said, well, we'll lose out on taxes for the school district. I said, you'll get no taxes if that property sits there. So you can't develop it without it. We heard you're bringing another water line. I said, if that other project goes through, that's a possibility, but the tank's not for that. When we first started working with the village, we went and they were under this consent and we agreed to help them get the tank in place. It might add some additional pressure there if we need it, but they need it in the village. They need it for fire suppression and for health and safety. So we're still moving ahead with it. I talked to the mayor several times. She's gonna meet with them too. This isn't the first time that they've had issue with it. With other things that the village is doing, they just don't understand. No. There's like four, like the one that asked the most questions, she's been on it like 7 years. So.
Maybe it was 7 years.
Okay. But I said, no cost. And I said, can Tony wrote up something and dealt with their attorney. Their attorney says this is unique. Well, yeah, it is unique because the county helps. A lot of other counties don't help. I said, you should you should call your legislators. I told them all tomorrow and thank them because this is unique. You would have to bond for your community. And then they go, well, I don't live here. I don't live in Dollarville. I don't live in Dollarville because the board, there's 5 communities there. I go, but you represent the school that is in Dollarville. And they just couldn't get that.
Okay, so where are we with?
So we want to keep moving ahead right now. However, we are not gonna spend this money any further with Wright Pierce or anything else until we get the PIP signed from the school district, which they said will be on the agenda in January. But I would like to, if it's okay with the board, move ahead with this, but not, so that won't slow us down because it's an earlier January. I'd rather if we could keep it more than now, because that's the only thing.
So we need a motion on the grant.
No, and the, what one are we on the first? Oh, so the infrastructure grant, yes, that's we're applying for an additional 500,000 to help offset even costs even more. Because the Village of Dollarville is a pro-housing community, they're entitled to apply for this grant. Because we've been doing our housing study that helps us with this as well. We can't really show property in the community where there'll be an expansion of housing, but that's not saying we're not looking. So that entitles us to at least 500,000 of this, and we'll be putting in the application after. But it's a good way to keep that price coming down.
What's the grant called? What is it?
Infrastructure,
It's just called infrastructure grant.
yeah, it's nothing crazy.
did a
The
letter
governor
of
found some money and she's trying to get reelected.
New York State money.
Yeah, no, not EFC.
I think
They
I'm disappointed.
have the EFC over there.
Uh-huh.
I don't think this one is EFC.
John, do you think any of the resistance is because of what they think might be there?
No, because it doesn't tie into that. And only one person asked about the project and I said, that's a great question. I'm happy to go offline and talk to you because right now we're working on the water tank. But once, to have on the record, everything that doesn't make sense because it had nothing to do with that project. Even if that comes in, it doesn't really pertain to the water tank. Yeah, everything would be separate then. But what I did wanted to bring up, but I didn't because I didn't want to get them all going crazy. But there is on that property already surveyed too for their cell tower if they want to take it. I had a call on that last week because they're trying to put it on the firehouse now and everybody's going crazy over that. So if we told them they could put it out there, it would just change the whole topic. But they get the top corner of our property in Manheim, which is kind of equal to where the water is produced. So it makes it good for the pumping and everything else where we are.
So we need a motion on the infrastructure grant.
Yeah.
We'll apply for it. John Sparano, second. For discussion.
Why do we have to vote on?
I know this one, they want us to have a resolution.
Oh.
Some they do, some they don't.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay?
Some of them are crazy.
The water tower amendment. Is 38 to 46.
Yeah, so in here you can see from Wright Pierce, we are changing up some things where instead of making it a raised tank, we're putting it on the ground, which will save about $1 million. We're probably, well, once again, we're gonna wait to see where that PIP lines up, because if that doesn't happen, the project's not going through. And, so that schedule right now looks relatively okay to get out the, preliminary engineering report. Everything else we've been meeting with Wright Pierce, so.
Outside of the money being an issue, the $1 million, does it change the physical project that lowers pressure or volume or is anything like that?
No,
It just
No,
stays
there'll be
the same?
some pumping in there, additional pumping. And what's good about where it's gonna be too is there's been a lot of issues with Gearing Tricot and their pressure and their water. This will help them out as well. So it's really a win-win where it is.
Need a motion?
Can I just say one more thing with that? I am, well, you can't make a motion.
I would.
Somebody go. Hey.
So, when it was in the air, there was an opportunity to put cell towers on it, but now that it's ground-based, it's too low and there won't be cell towers. That's the only thing that'll change. I didn't want to say yes, but that's the only.
So from the county's aspect of this, that are we still going through with our resolution?
Yes,
or do
we
have to
should.
Have it in the holding pattern?
No, we should move ahead with that, so everybody, and I'll
Only if it moves ahead, it's kind of in a holding pattern type.
So you know how we draw down the money anyways. It'll just be assigning that money now. I think we should continue so it shows good faith to everybody too. But I mean, I haven't had a chance to talk to Rodney, but I will. So he's got to reach out to some of those. The superintendent was great. He kept saying this is a positive thing. But the board was just a little different. But no, we need to assign that money because we don't want to slow down the process. However, we've done many projects, so has other groups that at the end, if it doesn't go through, then we don't need it. But no, we shouldn't slow that down at all. Thank you. That's next week.
So does the school board realize they could kill the whole project?
Yes.
They have no stake in
No bill, no anything, except bringing better water to their community.
the protection for the school, you know,
I think,
jobs and things.
Peter, I think if everybody on the school board lived in Dowsville, there wouldn't even be a question. The woman asking the most lives in Salisbury, yeah.
They'll get
right
the money,
there.
but they're just gonna get on the tail end. You know, that's. Doesn't make sense. But anyway,
Schuyler, Frankfurt couldn't raise their hands quick
The
enough.
Rodney has got involved at all?
No, I haven't even, I only had the meeting. I can't remember what.
Tonight, you know.
Yeah, and then last night I was in Syracuse, so, yeah. But I will reach out to him.
Okay, so a motion was made a second. one.
No.
Okay, the water tower, I'm gonna leave on that.
Yes, please.
All right, thanks, Tim. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Carried. All right, fifth agreement, it's.
We already discussed that.
Yeah. All right, item 13, the Remington Arms. Start the cultural services.
Yep, so, I reached out after having a meeting with SHPO, New York State Parks Recreation and Historic Preservation, about the Remington Arms Facility. We had a meeting with their director and Jeff Januszewski, the VP at Empire State Development. Can't remember, I think it was last week. And we needed to hire a cultural resource company that would go in there and evaluate the property and for what cultural resources could still be there for historic preservation. So we have two things in front of us today. The first one is the services that has them go in, take the pictures, evaluate the site, and see what they can say about what is truly historic and what is not. It is not on the register. However, that it is historic, it automatically appears on a list. There's CRISA list with Parks Recreation Historic Preservation. I'll be honest with you, I thought this quote was gonna be a lot higher. I cannot believe the price that they're gonna do all this work for.
400.
Yeah, that's, I was anticipating $25,000 to $30,000. So I'm very excited about this one. I think we need to move this ahead. We're gonna talk about the property in executive session. So I think that, it's key that we move.
All right, so that first one's 5430, your motion will.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I know this was a late addition. So what, this being done, what does that exactly do for the property? I'm just thinking, does that send it in the avenue of it being a historical?
It allows us to remove property, remove structure.
Okay, so it's not like we're going in the direction of it being on the historical
No,
register.
we're going in the direction to remove structures.
Okay.
And this person, I always get nervous when we deal with these people because their job is to really make things stay. When we had the interview with her, myself and Victoria, you could tell that she understands what needs to go to that site and how it can, keep all those historic structures.
So why do we need a historic building survey alternative to a just regular structural?
Because of the age of the building and that it is historic, it's listed in CRISA, which is the site that Parks Recreation Historic Preservation.
Mhm.
So we need someone to go in there and evaluate all the property, and she'll come back and say, yes, this is historic. But if you look at the next thing she's gonna do, she's gonna help us with the proposal to ship out to remove some of those structures.
And because it's on the
CRISA
Cultural
list,
Resource
yeah.
Information Service
Yeah.
list, they must need some sort of.
documentation to allow, and we are also, we have that other grant on here too, yeah, we get, we don't have the other grant on here though, Victoria, the one that I need from Empire State Development. Maybe I didn't
I'm
say,
sorry, we did speak with you on the phone about that yesterday, so maybe we were not clear about, because we had it like, cultural grant. And then we were asking if we were getting grant funding for this, and you said no.
okay, no, I'm sorry, so I'm gonna add something else to this, it's my fault, I wasn't clear. So we'll talk about that in a second too. So this needs to be done in order to move ahead with potential project that.
Discussion. In favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Consider the structural report.
So this is going to help us with the letter to SHPO, and she will work with any meetings that we have that will help when we need to remove any structures at the facility. So she's like the consultant that will need to actually come in here and go to meetings at Albany to say, no, this structure and alternatives. So an alternative to keeping the building there, you put up a kiosk or you put up one of those panels that you see when you're walking along a trail and they'll say, this is historic site of this, and this did that. And, just another step we have to go through, which you can't just tear down structures or potentially tear down structures.
That's for 3250.
32, yeah, 3,200.
Or 3250.
3,200.
All right. Need a motion? Yeah. Come on, folks.
In addition to that, as for
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 3670.
That's if she has to attend some stuff. I think-
John, that last proposal, I'm so sorry, it's 3670 for that last one.
3670. Yeah, where did you get 30? Oh, yeah, here's the sheet. They didn't get this?
Okay, correction made, 3670.
I still, we have an agreement.
Scarano, second by Tim, correct? Yes. Any
We
further
don't have to
discussion?
vote on it.
Well, we'll put it all together. I like everybody to be
All in favor, aye.
supportive.
Any opposed, nay.
So, there's something that's not on here and I apologize for that. So, but we applied. And she must have, yeah. So there's another grant that we're gonna receive from Empire State Development. We filled out all the forms with Allison. So this is a grant that Empire State Development had money set aside to review sites of interest by the governor. And from all of our meetings so far, Jeff Januszewski, who I keep referencing as Senior VP, who started in the Pataki, he's been here for a long time. The governor has given him 2 sites to work on this year. One of them is Remington Arms, and the other one is the Sumitomo Tire Factory out in Tonawanda that just closed. So there's money set aside to do different types of studies on this. They have put in, and there'll be a meeting the first week in January where they'll present, but there should be no issue, where they're going to put in for $200,000 that we go out to RFP for one of these larger firms like a Cushman Wakefield, a Newmark, a JAL, that'll come in and evaluate the site and say what can really happen there. What we did with the EPA was nice, showy things that could really help market it too, but these guys will do a deep dive evaluation in it. The thing with the grant though is we have to do a match. So 200,000, it's either gonna be a 10% or a 20% match. I've been lobbying heavily for 10%. Jeff was okay with it. I'm trying to convince Alice that we only want to pay 10% for a small IBA. So we really need to vote on that too today. It's $200,000. It comes out of a unique fund that the governor has. We will get that money, go out to RFP very fast with the assistance of Empire State Development and their legal team. We'll get in a large company, the successful one, to evaluate Remington in a relatively fast period of time to move the project ahead. So
So in the event we only have to come up with 20 grand for that match, that just comes out of our HCP.
Yeah.
Grabbing that out of
nothing.
there. is something that Lillian work with us or is it?
No, they will not split that with us. However, the project that we will talk about soon, I think you'll see that with the thing.
Okay, your motion to accept that alternative motion. Tim, second, John, discussion. All in favor, aye. Opposed, nay, carried. The EPA TBA, right?
So we are out of our EPA assessment fund. However, the EPA always keeps money aside to do other things. We were on a call the other day and we requested from the EPA a couple $100,000 additional money to go into the Remington facility and drill a bunch of test holes inside the structures. We've gotten the okay from the facility owner to go in and do that. And we were on the call the other day with the company that the EPA has under contract to do this type of work. We should have an answer and a schedule and a timeline. Victoria, you're on the call. Pretty much they gave us the, yeah, there's no doubt that we're not gonna get, because they like this project too. They see good results with it. So, we're gonna have to vote to accept that grant from the EPA when we get it. It'll roughly be, we won't touch any of the money, which is a great thing. What'll happen is they will hire them directly and pay them directly. We just have to show the support through resolution that the board agrees that this is the proper thing.
Sorry, was that at Remington?
Yes,
Okay.
at the, inside the structures. Can you call up that map? So can you blow it up at all or? So in that map, there's a ton of, are there yellow X's in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so wherever the yellow X's are, we're actually gonna bring drilling equipment into the structure and drill inside on the floors, through the basement into the ground below. So they'll be doing 2 holes really at each site, one about, I think it's like 8 to 10 feet, the other one 15 feet or more.
When they monitor those, or they just sample and?
Just sample. They won't go deep enough to hit water, we hope,
Why do you people sample at 8 foot and then?
because they don't want to touch, I don't know, I can't answer that.
Yes.
Why there?
Uh,
Like, why
because,
that specific one?
because we had HRP go in first and select the areas that need it. There's some floor drains, there's, whenever anybody wants to go in Remington now, it's pretty much cleared out. We can set up times for that too, but it's a lot of walking. So on some of the floors, you see these gigantic wet like areas in concrete that's been there for 200 years. Why is it wet there? You know, but it's not wet. You know, it's like a stained concrete, so they want to check those out as well. So they think over time that there might have been barrels sitting there and constantly leak through. So that's the map of what the area, so it's about 50 holes there.
The current owners have agreed, you said the current owners have allowed for that, correct?
Okay, need a motion for that. Tim, Cory, discussion, sorry, just on quick. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
That's your turn.
Any opposed, nay, carried.
Yeah.
All right, our last item on the regular agenda is the Four Corners Business Plan.
I would like to move that to executive session to go contract negotiations.
Comment by my elected officials, Greg, Peter, or anyone? All right, thanks for coming, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Yes, I just got Merry Christmas.
Let's go project updates. Jen.
Yep. So, dual fold, waiting for a price to come back from consultants on the removal of the torn down structures. I believe we'll be able to use the Restore grant to clear all that up. So we already have a grant in place, so that's moving ahead good. Board evaluations will be handed out today. Please fill them out and get them back to us. Also, the meeting dates will be out too. We'll discuss at the next meeting if you see any issues with any of those dates. Also, as you saw from Aaron's presentation, our training is complete. And we're gonna look to do an additional year of training. We're working with Cory on some other grant opportunities, but we'll come back to you with some kind of pricing at our next meeting to continue on. I thought it was quite valuable. If any board members would like to be a part of it, we would really truly like that to happen.
John? You don't go back to detail?
Yes.
Probably maybe you said you might be able to get.
Yeah. As part of that restore one. So as soon as I get the money for the quotes to remove everything that's down, I'll be able to submit that to the state and ask them to move the restore money for the demolition and cleanup. They've set a precedent with that in Rome, so I don't see us having any issue with that whatsoever.
Are you hearing anything from the developer? I mean,
On a weekly basis.
yeah, is there anything or?
Well, there's always been concern since the second building came down
Yeah.
because there's no more historic tax credits available at that site. So
Cause that was like for that part.
it was for B, so A, B, and C, it was for B and C. So without that, but there's still projects, opportunities there, maybe even still our childcare facility. Some other companies are very interested, including Cornell, to get over there. We've had conversations with different companies that would like to build some type of warehousing in the back section of that property. So we see an opportunity. We're waiting for one more grant from the EPA for about $20 million. So this grant, I call it the NOFO grant, but I can't remember it because we joke around and I can't remember what the real name of it is now. Can you?
The climate,
Reduction Act grant?
yeah.
So I don't.
Well,
Close enough. So anyway, so New York State has not made an award for that grant yet. So we let Chuck Schumer know, and so he's a little concerned that New York State hasn't gotten an award for that, so he's pushing, so we hope to hear from that within the next 2 weeks. That 20 million would solidify the developer just to jump right in at that point. I did have a conversation with him though, that said, what happens if you don't get that grant? He goes, we'll work to figure out something. He likes the property and he likes the project, so doesn't like the fact he lost the other two buildings, so.
Anything else for the good of the organization? Okay, Frank, you want to give us a recap of everything that we talked about?
Oh, you can too.
Okay, we need a motion to go in executive session for advice of counsel on some negotiations. Motion. Second by John. Hey, you can stay.
Sure, I do. You don't have to go.
Discussion.
I got another 10 minutes.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Carried. All right,
Shannon, we don't need you. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you later.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye.
Second by John. Discussion. All in favor, aye? Opposed, nay? We are back in regular session. We need to vote on,
Letter of intent.
letter of intent for the Tyler Four Corners project. We discussed in executive session. Motion by John, second by Alana. Discussion. All in favor, aye? Any opposed, nay? Carried. Anything else? We need a motion to adjourn. Alana, Timothy.
Oh, now you need.
And
Favor, aye?
Yeah, please don't leave. You gotta sign something.
I have papers for everyone to sign.
Yep.